Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Let's see. Yeah, sorry for the minute late. I was really trying to turn on closed captions. Uh, let's see, but every time I did, it would crash. So, you know, yeah. I'll see if I can get that working for later on. But for today, we're just gonna, have to deal with the pure text version, not pure text, pure audio. But yeah, so we're remaking Superhero Life 2. And there is a little bit of progress right now. Um, let's see if it detects it with the scene switcher. Yes. All right, perfect. So yeah, we, as you can see, we have a pretty standard foundation. Um, yeah, there's been, I guess, some discourse, as it were, in terms of whether we should keep the old style of the old way of laying things out, or if we should go to something new. And I think at the end of the day, the old way of laying things out just has a lot of limitations. You have some very odd zoning, as it were. For one, in a island this big, truly showing that I grew up in the United States, we have dedicated spot for a parking lot. Also, the we have the giant industrial center right across the street from a nice park. Just it's not zoned in a way which makes a whole lot of sense. And with that, I think there's opportunities to make things better. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to be keeping, we're not, sorry, we're not going to be removing uh, the character from it necessarily, just switching it up. It's going to be a bit of a remix. Like as you can see, we're going to be adding the park around here. And I am going to eventually add something like this too. I don't know if I'm going to put it in the middle of the park. I don't know if I'm going to put it, see if I can put a roundabout like right here. We are going to figure that out. Yeah, so yeah, the whole goal of this is to make a modern version of this game because frankly, this game is showing its age. Back when I first made it in 2016, when it started construction, I don't even believe we had custom meshes yet. We and so you can see that there's a lot of unions, a lot of a lot of things that you are not constrained by these days. And my hope is that using the last over half decade of experience I can make it better. I can make an improved version. And hopefully through live streaming it and getting continuous feedback, we are we will have a what's it called? We will have a much higher quality, uh, a much higher a much higher quality game. Because let's be real, Superhero Life 3 has some issues. Now, I wouldn't say it's bad. I think it's been played too many times for it to be bad. But I do think it misses the mark in a lot of ways that I intended it to as the developer. For those who weren't there when I first made it, which also a lot of its development was live streamed, um, and also I wish I could find those old live streams because the second I made the the second I made the character editor, everyone was just like, I don't know about this. Can you add more functionality? But I was stubborn. I thought I knew what I was doing and I didn't. And so, just as Superhero Life 2 improved from Superhero Life 1 because I listened, um, Superhero Life 2 Remake is hopefully going to benefit from it in the same ways. Unfortunately, the Superhero Life 4, I listened a bit too much. And so, Superhero Life 2 Remake is also going to have me saying no to things because scope is important and we want this game to come out. Um, yeah, but I think that a lot of the stuff here that's going to stay pretty similar. Expect I think I'm going to modernize the actual design of the prison, but the layout's going to be about the same. Like we're going to have the walls. Like I need to stop adding parking lots. Like at least make it like a parking garage, you know? Like this is a tiny, tiny island. We are not having a like imagine a Walmart parking lot here. Like, we're not going to be having that. We are going to be having a little bit more reasonable layout of things. Um, and so yeah, so that's the current plan. And that brings us to uh, this version, which let's see, we have some. Thank you. I really appreciate it. The In terms of the actual scale, it is a little bit bigger, as you can tell. I'd say what, maybe like 20, 30% bigger. But I think that it will be close enough in scale that you'll still be able to find everyone. And this just means that when you run super fast, you actually can run in the same direction for more than a split second. Yeah, and that's going to be the goal here, just to take this map, fill it out, add the functionality from before with some adjustments. For example, the artifact system is probably just going to be, trimmed back into the main uh, character things. Um, as to adding new areas like police stations, I do want to add police as NPCs in Superhero Life 4, but I want it to be kind of like I want the NPCs in Superhero Life to be like factions, to be like, having their own goals and constraints. And, like, I think ideally, this is a superhero game. And you can't have superheroes without like the law enforcement stuff. Like someone's got to try to arrest Batman, you know? Um, it's I think that for the most part though, I don't want this to be like I'm not trying to make Jailbreak anymore. I'm trying to make superhero life. And I think, as I've grown, I want superhero life to be about how we can, you know, express ourselves while, doing doing stuff in the world that, highlighting the difference a single person can make in the world. And frankly, I think if you want to make a difference in the world, maybe not, law enforcement. That's just, keeping existing things relatively, secure. And so I think for now, we're going to have, different NPC systems for Superhero Life 4. But for here, we're just going to focus on taking the existing mechanics and, how the bank function. Oh, you would definitely be able to rob the bank. Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, that'll be fun. Um, yeah, teleportation mechanic. Like, I think that the yeah. So in terms of superhero life lore, well, I guess we can go through one thing. This current map is called Sanctuary City. That's because in, I guess, the overall lore of it, the first we have to deal with the fact that these islands are quite small yet are well developed. And so that means that they're almost certainly artificial. Like when you see an island this big in the ocean, it doesn't have a city on it. It has like either all nature or like a small village. And so for a city this big to be on an island this small and to not be like and to be in the middle of the ocean, I think it makes sense that naturally you would that naturally this would be an artificial island to an extent. And so the question is, in a superhero world, why would they have an island filled with superheroes in the middle of nowhere? And for that, I think that it should be that should be part of it. I think that this is sort of a superhero city, in a sense, and because of that, you have these kinds of I think there are some interesting especially anime, I'd say anime inspired like superhero things where like you kind of see a world where just superheroes are very regular. Or Invincible. I really like Invincible. Um, yeah, new season too. Yeah, like that's just I think it's just a great show overall, and I hear the comics are even better. But I'm not focused enough to read the source material for these kind of things. Um, I did read Watchmen. I don't think I've read any other comic books. Um, it's just, the last time I sat down and read a book that wasn't for like my work. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we're not removing the suit glitch. That's because I think I've come to accept you want to support your audience. There's a balancing act, I guess. You want to support your audience to do whatever, but you also don't want them to get overwhelmed. And the problem is, what overwhelms a first-time user is a lot less than what a returning user wants to do. And so that's like the friction. And I think that ideally, the design of the character customization systems will have depth, but also can be worked with very easily. Like anyone can use like a Microsoft Word document, but that doesn't mean you know what every single menu does. That means that you don't go through all the settings. You just get the basic functionality down in a very intuitive way, and then put the rest of the functionality behind a menu or two. And so that's what I'm hoping to do with the superhero life stuff. In terms of, yeah, I'm going to be adding new textures. That's definitely going to happen. Um, yeah, the also I have to say this this terrain is tough. I I want to say the only reason the terrain looks even close to good is because a very talented colleague of mine, Tyridge77, he made the Wild Wild West game. Very talented developer, um, and he made a plugin and was nice enough to point me towards it for making some really nice UI, because I think at the end of the day, like I want people to learn from my games. I don't like having my games be closed source. I just have to deal with the fact that like if I open source, then someone's just going to make a copy with everything free, and then all of a sudden I don't have a job. Like it's so I think a live streaming my work is usually pretty good because for the most part it's easier to make your own game than it is to uh, I don't have any problems with developers taking inspiration from Superhero Life. God knows Superhero Life took inspiration from other games. Um, I just want, I want this to be educational to developers, not just some random bot who sees an open source game and and makes a quick clone. But yeah, yeah, I think getting some artists is it's tough because I think talented artists should be paid well. But also the reason that I've been able to stay in Roblox game development for so long is because I have a very small operating budget. Like all I need is I don't have a car since it got destroyed in a flood a few years back, so no car expenses. I just bike places. I live in Brazil right now, which has good public transit. Um, I I do not need a whole bunch of money. And so if I can keep the cost of creating this game down low, then, I think that that makes much more sense as a business decision. Um, and so, yeah, and I don't want to hire, and I don't want artists to work for free. Yes, Brazil mentioned. Because I guess two things. The first one is I think you should be compensated for your work. I genuinely think that if you create something cool, you should be well paid for it. And I don't want to just, rip off artists because they're new to the field, like because they're desperate to make a name for themselves. That doesn't seem nice. Instead, I would. It's definitely a case where my own morality is making everyone unhappy, which so be it. the problem is like there's also some realisticness here where like when I work with someone, I need to be able to rely on them. And in order to rely on someone professionally, you usually got to pay them all right. Because, like, tell me, what are you going to are you going to show up to work on time if you're paid like minimum wage? Barely. I don't know. I think that there is something to be said that you want to hire, you want to make sure that your employee is happy with their job. And as a result, that's expensive. And so I don't have employees. And like the last time I did like I hired someone as an artist. Um, it was a long time ago. I actually I made a few, that's not true. I made a few small commissions for Superhero Life 3. Um, but that didn't really, lead to too much. Those were just one-off things. They weren't like full-on like collaborations. Um, but yeah, no, I mean by all means. No, I'm not here for free labor. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not doing that. If you want to make a good portfolio, make a good portfolio. You don't need to work for me to make something cool. In fact, I'd say working for you for free leads to you making way cooler stuff than anything I could imagine. Um, but yeah, I think that for the most part, I just want to make something that's really fun, and it like to any of my developer colleagues and friends who are watching, like especially or specifically Ryan. Yeah, he's the guy who helped me make the Superhero Life 3 map, but he is very busy, so he is probably not going to be making this one. Um, but no, like I like working with my friends on these projects. So it's not so much like oh no, only I can work on this. But like, this isn't a company. This is me. Well, it's a sole proprietor LLC, but the focus on the sole proprietor. I'm making this, and maybe if it goes well, we can expand outwards. But for now, let's just I'm gonna make a game for y'all. Y'all can play it for free, and hopefully you like it. But yeah, it's let's see. I'd say that there's going to be all of your suits from the previous game will transfer over. Don't worry. Um, and I think that in terms of actually accomplishing that, we're gonna take the data that is stored out right now because it's very inefficiently stored. There's a reason. The reason that you could only have 10 to 20 suits is because I did a very bad job storing data back then, and there was a lower limit. Like realistically, I could probably store a suit now. Yeah, I could store 100 suits, and as a result, we're going to use that extra bandwidth. Well, we're not going to use all of it. Some of it's going to go into base customization. In fact, a lot of it. But yeah, in terms of the preset heroes, we will be remaking them, but they'll be the same characters. Like, like you'll have all that stuff. Also, this is the Indiana pyramids. Yeah, I had a parent who worked in them, if I remember correctly, uh, or they knew someone who worked in it. I don't remember. I can't. You know how it is with stories from your parents. You like remember 90% of it, but also like you weren't there, so you know there's some encoding issues. Um, but yeah, these are inspired by the Indiana pyramids. If you want to look it up, they are some evil looking office buildings, but also pretty cool. And so these are going to replace these three buildings right here, because I think that I really do want to take this opportunity and take the essence of what was before, which is this is a a megacorp with semi-evil architecture with three towers. And so we replace it here. And that's how it'll work. In terms of the actual coloring, um, I'm definitely down for different colors. I can say canonically, Syndicorp's evil color is green. Um, that being said, this company is a subsidiary of Syndicorp, so it could have its own different color scheme. But I do think it's a bit more thematically appropriate to have the evil super corporation always have, more of a, cyberpunky kind of dark and neon tones. Yeah, no, the Indiana pyramids. Look them up if you can. I have it set right now to only show pre-approved programs. Um, but long term, I might end up adding browser support so I can show images. But I'm not like really a live streamer. I'm going to be working in these programs, and so yeah, we're going to be making all of this stuff. Also, 50 concurrent viewers. I'm honored that y'all showed up. I appreciate it. Honestly, considering that the last that like this game came out in 2017, which was what almost 7 years ago. The idea that there are still 50 people out there who would want to watch me talk about development stuff, you know, that's that make it feels good. I appreciate y'all for sticking by, and I promise I will make something cool out of it. So I'd say for now we have let's see. So cool guy, Captain Cool Guy. In case anyone wasn't here for it, Captain Cool Guy is the little mascot, the little um, cheesy, over the top like NPC that does the tutorial. Um, because this is a remaster, you will be seeing them as that NPC to some extent. I don't know. We'll see. I want to keep them as the NPC because Captain Captain Cool Guy was fun, and I I like the flavor. I don't want this to just become some bland asset flip game. I want it to still have character, and to some extent that means keeping the things which are a bit cheesy. I am going to be using some pre-made assets. Not like I'm not going to be like using one of these buildings, but like I might use the texture for like the windows or like the I might use these bus stops and stations and plants because like okay maybe I'm misreading it here, but do y'all play Superhero Life 2 for the bench design? I don't think so. I think y'all play it for the superpowers and the character customization. You know? Eh, maybe I'm biased here. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think y'all play it for the benches. And so why spend my time making a worse version of this bench? Oh yeah, no, everybody's saying yeah, the benches hit different. Yeah, okay. That's what I shouldn't have called attention to it. I should have just done my own thing. But yeah, no, we're going to be keeping these things. And also, the part of the reason I want to have these as one-off things is because these are meshes. This right here is two pieces, which is valuable because I am very slow when I'm in Blender. I can make things in Blender, but it takes a long time. So if I want to make a bench, um, I would have to make it out of parts and maybe union it, which is very inefficient. And so, and the reason I want these to be low part count is because I want you to be able to destroy these. I want if you run at Mach 5 with super speed into a bench or a flagpole or a trash can, that thing should explode, fly in a different direction, debris flying everywhere. It should feel like a much more dynamic world. Ideally, when you punch a window, it should crack. I'd have it shatter if there was stuff behind it, but like that's my goal here. I want the world to feel more realistic, and that will require, um, you know, going with my strengths, which are for the most part programming and map design. But I think I'm a good level designer. I don't think I'm necessarily an environmental artist. Anyone who can see my terrain can attest to that. The thing is, up close, the terrain doesn't look that bad. It's not that bad. But like when you zoom out, it looks awful. I don't know. I'll get over it. I will. There's a reason it said I disconnected briefly, which, yeah, well, I'm back. Okay, let's see. It says that I might, says I should stream at a higher bit rate. Let's see. Are y'all able to read this text? Let me see. Tell me if y'all can read that. Let's see. The otherwise, yes, readable. All right, perfect. Yeah, it looks like yeah, more dad jokes at the start. Okay, okay. Yeah, I will do my best for that. Um, no, because like yeah, the jokes in the opening stream, those are very nice. I like that. That's something that I very much enjoy. Um, but yeah, and we're not going to be doing too much coding right now, but just so we understand like the uh, the kinds of different like things we're going to be making. I actually have like a full workflow with these different things. You're going to get to see a whole Roblox developer workflow with code snippets, with installing things via Wally, like which is a package manager. You're going to get to see the most efficient game I can make. And yeah, I think that that's going to be pretty cool. Um, but for now, let's just focus back on let's see. Yeah. So let's focus back on the map because I want to get a very low fidelity version. This, each one of these buildings is like 5 parts. This is not a full building. Yeah, you can see right here the corner wedges. Um, these are not these are very much meant to be like very basic, very basic things. Because this is actually how I made the superhero life too. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned this, but check this out. Notice how every single thing, big detail on the buildings is 2, has a minimum dimension of 2. Like, see, right there, there's 2. There is, let's see, let's get another one. Like 2 right here. Oh wait, y'all can't see, y'all can't see the properties. Okay, let me move that here. Okay, but yeah, you can see right here, there's 2 and 2. And the reason for that is because the entire superhero life one map was made at a 10% scale. It was made as a miniature because I really wanted to get the shapes right. I really wanted to get the feeling right. And so as a result, back then the smallest you could go was zero point 0.2. And so once I was finished, I just used a plugin, I believe, to scale up the entire game to 10 times the size, and then I went in and started adding details. Like the earliest version didn't have like light poles or anything, but the big shapes for the buildings, those were all built at 10% size. And so I think that that worked out really well. But building at 10% scale in a virtual world, like the units don't actually mean anything. And now that you can control the camera size, I don't think it matters as much. And you can control units. You can control, a lot of things much better now. Roblox has evolved a ton in the last near decade. Um, but yeah, the in terms of animations, um, I do like the idea of having the transition be something more fancy. And I know that there are animation styles, and so I'll probably carry over the existing animations. But at the end of the day, I'm not an animator, and I don't particularly enjoy it. That being said, maybe I'll learn to love it through this project. But my main goal is I want to transfer all pre-existing stuff to this, and I want to build out these systems in a way that's flexible. Um, let's see. So with these, let us, okay, so let's build out all of this. So let's go into, so what building should we make next, y'all? What building? Okay, because yeah, what's the building that y'all liked that we should make? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make some. The factory. All right. Ace of spades. We have the factory, prison island, apartment. Oh, I should make a poll. All right. Can I do polls? Oh well. So I think at the very least, okay, so I'm seeing a lot of ties between factory and prison island. Factory, factory, factory. Okay, it looks like factory is in the lead, but prison island is in second place. So we're going to start with factory, and we're going to see how that goes. Um, does anyone know the name of a, like, I might want to add like a Miro board or something just so that we can get like some basic, like I want to get a, I want to be able to show concept art because the first stage of this is actually just looking at what a factory looks like. You know, like oh, and actually it's not a factory in this case, it's a refinery, which I think it's like a metal refinery or something because I know that yeah, it has lava. Okay, so yeah, so factory. Let us okay. Artists in the chat, what's that one program that like you can put little concept art in it or like little inspirations? Like I should message Ryan. He probably knows it, but he's busy. Okay, we'll see. So if somebody can remember it, there's like it because I wanna be able to show all that. But how about this? I'm gonna open up Miro and I'm gonna add it as a source. Um, but while we're doing that, what do you think about naming this project? Oh, I'm just gonna upload it to the original games. Like the reason for I went back and forth on this for a while as to whether I should, you know, whether it made sense for me to what's the phrase? Whether it made sense for me to go and upload, like do all this work to for an old game and but then not upload it to the old game because there are people who want like that original version, and I think that as a result they have a just a second, I'm gonna drink some water. My voice is cracking. Sorry. All right. So I think that as a result you have the yeah, I know. I know that a lot of apps can do that. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. There's a specific one where it's just like a whiteboard of like, and you can just drag images into it. And I think that'd be so helpful for a stream to show off like concept art and just like to get like, you know, an idea for like if I'm looking at an image, what like, you know, the inspirations for stuff. But I don't know. The we shall see. All right, so so right now I am actually making a new I'm going to make a little Miro board. Yeah, assembly line. Okay, so that's the thing. Assembly lines would be very cool. And I know that the Superhero Life 3, it actually does have an assembly. It actually has not assembly. It has a factory in it. So Superhero Life 3, we will be doing some factory stuff, and having an assembly line would make a ton of sense. Also, I think it'd be pretty fun to make functional, you know? Like in Star Wars Episode 2, where like they're fighting on the little assembly line. I think that'd be pretty cool. Um, yeah, so let's see. So we're just going to make this one, call it brainstorming. I'm going to add it as a source. Um, let's see. So add um, window capture, create new. Hey, there we go. All right. And let's see, we want to capture Miro. Um, yeah, okay, that looks right. Let's actually can I rename it? Sorry, I'm new to OBS. Well, not really. I've used OBS like once every few months for years, but I'm not familiar with it, if that makes any sense. Okay. Um, so now I'm going to I'm going to duplicate this stream to Miro. What? Okay. How about brainstorming? I'm going to use the scene switcher to actually uh, set that up. And now I can turn that off, keep this on, turn that off. And so now whenever I select Miro, does it switch? Let's see. Automatic scene switcher. Oh wait, but I said it to the wrong thing. Okay. Now when we add it, okay, so from there I switch to Roblox, back, select Miro. Okay, perfect. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add a we're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna make okay. So we're making the so we're gonna be making the refinery. Okay. So what are some? Let's get some images of a refinery. Um, yeah, we're a metal one specifically. Um, yeah, I want. Okay. So here's one. This is a random. We're not going to be copying any of these directly because, obviously that's not what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to copy anything, but we do want to know what a refinery looks like. Um, and so this is a very low resolution image. Um, but I think that it does, like there's a lot of piping, there's a lot of industrial things. I really like this image. Like, okay, look at this. Look at this one right here. Check that out. Okay. This is golden. That's going to look so cool at night. And right now they're using white light, which, uh, seems like a missed opportunity. I did it in Superhero Life 1, never again. I think we can make it orange, we can make it red, we can make it blue, we can add some atmosphere with the lighting. That's the thing I probably learned the most in the last few years, um, has been how you can use lighting to actually make something nice. Oh, but the stream has not been updating for a few minutes in terms of the actual chat, so I have not been able to read things. Thank you for saying my beard is well shaped. Uh, it is not intentional. I, except well, I trimmed these parts because then you look like a gorilla otherwise. But the, beyond that, it's just easier than being clean shaven. Because with this beard, you don't gotta like shave your face every week. You can just like it, it just saves time. Nature decided it wanted me to be a bearded man, and I just went with it. But yeah, but no, yeah, no, it also looks like a launch platform. I think that makes sense. Um, I think that there are just so many cool like ooh, okay, guys, you're gonna love this one. This one is from Zimbabwe, which apparently has amazing looking refineries. I love this. This looks like the perfect amount of industrial yet cool, Like this is ideal to me. Um, yeah, I swear this chat is just not like not what y'all are doing, but like the chat window on my screen is like not updating. It's annoying. Yeah, but yeah, so I think that this looks great. I yeah. So yeah, these yeah. See, we started here and now we're here. You know. Um, I I want to make yeah. I want like that Terminator refinery lava. Like you know. Um, Yeah, and also it shouldn't just be like a neon glowing thing. There should be like fire. Like check this out. You know, like we should have this is from a steel refinery, a little blog. Um, let's see. If also, I mean, like if any of y'all want to know the original sources for these, let me know. Um, but like reverse image search works well enough. You can find it. Like this isn't a secret. But no, these are some really cool vibes, you know? And I want this on the outside and this on the inside, you know? And I want people to be able to fight. Um, but yeah, I am remastering it solo, but I also built it solo. Superhero Life 1 and 2 were made entirely by me. Superhero Life 3 did have some external contractors, but you know, for the most part, you know, Superhero Life has always been my baby. And so yeah, I think that let's see. So now let's actually do that. So these are the building gray boxes. I'm almost certain this is the refinery. Okay. So this is the refinery. Let us, okay, so let's just start by getting the basic shapes looking right. Okay. We're gonna anchor this. Gonna go with something metal. Do we have any good metal variants? I need to bring in more of those. I have a ton of material variants somewhere. They just slow down the loading so much that is it not opening my stream? Okay, no, now it is. All right. Yeah, the when did I move to Brazil? I moved there about 2 months ago. For a wonderful woman who might be in this chat. And yeah, but yeah, so let's see, yeah, but no, Brazil's very nice. It's funny. I've only been here for 2 months, but I'm already seeing like how Brazilian city design like is starting to influence very slightly how I want to lay out the city. Because I always I always you know want to okay, I'm gonna pop out the chat. Just maybe that one will be faster, you know? All right. Yeah, but I think that for the most part, yeah, we're gonna. So let's you know let's check this. Yeah, so we want if the city looks a bit more Brazilian, there's a reason. Um, let's see. I arcades are tough because on the one hand, I really think it would be cool to add something like that. However, at the same time, every time you make an arcade, I just want to add games to it. Um, my friend Ryan is also making a really cool game, which and he's having the exact same struggle with the arcades. Um, but I think that for now, the main focus will just be building out the pre-existing areas before committing too much to new things, which means making a giant refinery. Okay, so we're just going to get the shapes right here. Okay. Ooh, I like it. Um, okay, so let's round it a little bit. How about 200, 200, 200? Perfect. Okay. So that is too big. How many? That's that thing from The Incredibles. Um, okay, so that's too big. Is that even a sphere, or is that like a cylinder? but I like spheres. Cylinder makes more sense though. Hmm. I'm torn because now that I look at it, there's not a bunch of interior space. Like you have like the boring one that's easy to build and the cool one, which will be a huge pain to build. Okay, we're gonna have to find a halfway point between them. Okay, I might just have to look for how long are we stream? Oh, and Ryan is here. Yeah, let's see, how long am I streaming for? I am streaming for probably another hour. Yeah, so and hopefully every day. That's the goal because not every day will I be as talkative. Mostly because at my core I'm still an introvert, but I also like it when people like what I make, and so that's why I like doing these streams. And I feel like I kind of owe it to y'all. It's been a long time. But yeah, so we are going to let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, there's another reason I guess you wouldn't want to make it a giant ball. Uh, let's see. I think yeah, cylinder. Okay, well, how many? Well, that's still very big. Let's just go 70, 70, 70. Okay. Hmm. I'm just getting like a very basic shape. This is not going to be like the precision of the final one. I just trying to think like how would I best make this in a way which looks right? I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm gonna look at more images because I'm getting stuck. Like I'm just like okay. So here's an image of one in yeah like the like here are some stock images um in relation to like some refinery somewhere. Okay, here's Miro. Okay, okay. So hmm, okay. So I this looks more workable because you can almost look like you can see like there's the cool cylinders, you have some walkways, and like you could make kind of an indoor space inside of it. Okay. But like, dang, that is a complex shape? Like that is going to be so high resolution. And uh, yeah, the where which window did I put the chat? It's not right. One of these windows has the chat in it. Here it is. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, the honestly, a nuclear power plant is tempting, but I also don't want to like because I think nuclear power is cool. And the last thing I want to do is add fear mongering it because the second you add a nuclear power plant, you gotta blow it up. It's an action game, but nuclear power plants are actually quite safe, and so by blowing it up, you kind of you heat up the planet a little bit. Okay. Anyway, it's tough, but I think for now, metal refinery, but nuclear power is cool. Y'all should, Um, okay, this is kind of nice. Like these kinds of like this. I like the big, this is actually probably pretty close to what I have now. What is this? Is this a real place? I can never tell if it's like a real place or AI anymore. I was like the first one who couldn't tell AI from real things. Um, but yeah, okay. All right. So there will be, so in terms of other areas like dimensions or mansions or all that stuff, mansions are going to be tough because that's pretty inefficient land use and we only have so much land. Other dimensions, that's high scope. Um, is there lore as to why Superhero Life 2, and Superhero Life 3 exist? Well, the real life lore as to why they exist is because I was pretty awful at coding. Still not like the best coder, but I think I've gotten a lot better. And as a result, the types of what's it called? Whenever I'd make a new superhero life game when the code from the previous game got too bad and unsustainable. Um, Problem is with Superhero Life 4, that kept on happening before the game got released. And so, the cycle sort of got out of control. There are going to be like customizable apartments with secret bases. That's going to happen still. It's just like we want to, well, because like the map is just small. Like I don't know about you, like I have lived in since I made this game, I have lived in San Francisco and New York and Brazil. And I can tell you, city zoning is different. That being said, I'm not saying we can't have like any houses, but when you have literally a city this small, like if this map was maybe 4 times this size, we could probably have a little neighborhood of like tiny houses. But not for something this big. There are probably oil rigs bigger than this city, which actually, in the lore, Superhero Life 1 was an oil rig originally. So we'll probably pay more direct attention to that idea in the remake. Um, yeah, the I'm not so sure about multiverse so much as time travel. I think time travel is cool. I don't know how to do multiverse as a game mechanic. You know, like that's tough. That's a bit out of scope. I do want to have different biomes, but that's probably going to be a Superhero Life 4 thing. Like just I think that for now, main goal should just be making this and making it well. The let's see. In terms of the actual shape, okay, well, let's just start by getting the smokestacks. That's probably going to be the easy one. All right, let's make it a little bit like 80, 20, 20 or something. Okay. Well, I don't. This isn't like the best design. I think the building shapes are a bit weird, but like it looks all right. I think it looks the right amount of clutter. I don't want to overdo it. Just because I have better textures now doesn't mean that I'm making like, a AAA game. I have to keep I have to keep all that stuff in mind. So yeah, combining all the maps is something that I want to make bigger maps. Putting all of the maps in the same spot is kind of tough because okay, let's look at it this way. If you have a map that is this big, you can put a lot of interiors in it and a lot of decoration pretty easily. If you have a map that's 4 times this big, you have to usually invest in like a custom streaming setup and like really get that optimized to have the same level of interiors. Um, and then if you have it like 4 times even that size, then it's like an actual technical nightmare, which will take up a lot of your time. And so keeping all the maps separate allows for me to design for one problem at a time. It's just, I think it's going to be easier that way. In terms of when Superhero Life 1, 2, and 3 take place, I think Superhero Life 1 was like 90s. Superhero Life 2 sometime this decade, and Superhero Life 3 is post 2030, if I remember. It might be 2040. It's sometime in the future. I just know that Superhero Life 3 is cyberpunk future. That's what it's supposed to be, at least. We'll definitely be doubling down on that a bit in the remake. Um, oh yeah, no, parkour is something that I'm like, I want to make movement styles feel more natural. I feel like when you select powers, they shouldn't just be tools in your backpack. They should actually be move sets. Like a person who has flight shouldn't have to select a flight tool. They should just be able to jump and they're flying, you know? Like if you jump twice or something, double jump should just trigger flying, you know? Like to me, that is what flying should do. But like and so like that kind of stuff. Like ideally you'll just have a more complicated move set rather than having to select everything. Um, mhm. But yeah, the let's see. Yeah, the okay, so back to work, back to focusing. Not a not a huge strength of mine, but actually I made that 812 better. Okay, so now let's just let's get the tall parts done first. The okay, so we have those. Where do these get put? These just kind of get put all over the place. I like this. I like the little red white thing, I like that. Let's uh let's do that. And I have a suspicion that like this might actually be made out of concrete. Do we have concrete? That doesn't look too bad. Also devastating, the concrete material variant is mapped to asphalt instead of concrete. Devastating. Okay, so let's just we're just gonna focus on making things the easy way. Um, let's see. Yeah, so okay, so we have that part. Let's get a good red. Okay. Offset it. Okay. But something like that. How many? It had 6, maybe 7. Um, how tall should these be? I feel like this is too tall, you know? So let's get okay, so right now these are what are the dimensions? They're 20 by 40 by 20, so we could probably reduce it by 80% without getting any weird units. Yep. Sorry, reduce it by 20%. Yeah, so that looks better. Oh no, the camera break? No, it's working. Sometimes the cam breaks. So if it breaks, please make fun of me. So until I fix it. Um, yeah, no, they should get thinner at the top. The problem is that's kind of a shape that, well, let's see. Let us see. There's this thing called Parts Plus, which might actually have, there it is. Okay, let's see how this works. Okay. Whoops. Looks like the sizing is on a different dimension. Okay. Okay. This does get smaller, but like, look what happens when we try to make it like, okay, so maybe this looks nicer. Um, so the thing, in terms of like running super quickly during slow motion, that is something you can only ever do in a single player game because there is no way to make a multiplayer game slow down because that is stuck in real time. Unless you, of course, slow down everyone else, but then, you know, I think that has its own drawbacks. I don't like this part. You see, it's like I need like a very subtle one, but yeah, not all of them narrow at the top, and that's just too much of a headache of a shape. Because like you can get this shape, but you can't actually get like the banding on it as easily. And so yeah, we're gonna figure that out. In terms of Red Rage, um, you will get to learn more about the default characters. In all honesty, they started out as I sat near, not near, but I sat in the same office as insanely Luke, another Roblox developer who headed the Roblox Heroes, the Heroes of Robloxia. Um, and originally, the default characters were going to be sort of like a cross collaboration thing, just because like yeah, it'd be fun little Easter egg. But then at the last minute, I kind of like, I guess I'd rather have control over my own characters, and so I made modifications of them. Um, and so with that in mind, they didn't have like some deep lore going in. They were just kind of like, well, I want to have my own thing, and sort of like that. Honestly, that's how you should view a lot of the thinking when going into superhero life. These are archetypes. These are not necessarily like they're meant to be flexible. I do have lore in mind for them for people who want like a default lore, but that lore should always be secondary to allowing the user to become who they want to be. Like if you think that Red Rage is someone different, go for it. I give you, you know, it's a game where you make your own characters. Um, but I think that part of making a nice map is a little bit of depth. Part of making a character compelling, you know, depth helps. And so, yeah, I'm going to be putting more thought into these characters. Um, People who make their own lore for the presets are great. I mean, you know, it. I think some lore is more widely enjoyed than others, but I would say that everyone who makes it is contributing to the game in their own way. Um, Hopefully, a positive way. Please do your best work, y'all. The Hmm. What's the best arrangement for these? Okay. Also, I'm going to name them. Um, Name them like a pipe or it's not. Is it chimney? Is it a pipe? Is it a smokestack? What do they call them? I'm just gonna go with pipe. I know. There's got to be a better name for them. It, um, yeah, no, I want to build out, I want to make good versions of the existing towers first, and then we can talk about adding new ones. Because like if I wanted to just make, if I just wanted to expand the design, I could just make Superhero Life 4. Except as y'all know, I can't. I tried. I couldn't make it. And so I think that, we're going to stick as close to the main design as we can. We're just going to do a better job at it. Um, yeah, adding more interiors is something that I want to do, or at least do a better job with the existing interiors. Like there will still, like for example, in the hospital, like you'll still have like the same amount of like you still have like the same like sets, but they might be a little bit bigger in the same way that the entire map is a little bit bigger. Just because when you're actually putting like thought into these things and like putting like trying to make sure there's room for people to like do stuff, you put a little bit of extra space in there. um yeah, no, this will definitely be a graphics update. The But let's see, I'm gonna just close all of that. Okay, so where I'm just trying to find like an image of a factory that just makes it all make sense, like right now we have just a few different ideas. Um, and like we can all agree that like these would be cool to have. But then you think about like in this one, the one which I think well, I know I loved. Um, I just looked at that and was just kind of, um, I just thought this looked awesome. But then you can actually think, okay, how do we have this? How do we have this? How do we have like the Terminator fight, you know, inside it? And because this happens in something that looks more like this, probably with like actual walls. And so we got to find a way to incorporate these walls. And actually, maybe that's how we should go about it. We should start by grabbing some concrete and this is also a corner wedge. Dang. Um, okay, we're gonna get some concrete and we're gonna make some blocks. We're gonna block out some things. Yeah, because that is okay. So 120, 80, 120. I do like the idea of having like sort of brick buildings in the game. I think that for the most part, uh, you want, sorry, my brain dead. Um, Brick building refineries are much smaller. Like they're like you don't build a massive structure out of brick these days. You build it out of something like concrete for the most part. And so, let's see, what should the color of this thing be? Should it be orangish? Should it be like a, like what's a good like reddish kind of? It's a bit too on the nose. Something like that. Okay, that looks all right. Okay, so now let's just create box or something. Um, let's see. Yeah. So I do think that adding more character customization items is necessary. It's just like, just focusing on getting the first stuff done as, fast as possible. Like, um, okay, so okay, let's choose using all of our brain power where the main stuff is. Like they have that. They have this big building. They have this stuff. Okay. So I think let's just start with moving just some kind of like I almost want to like make it like a little bit tilted, like just make it look a little bit more natural. Like I mean natural, I mean like organic. Like like it was and that things just got connected together. Um I mean you can see what the game looks like in isometric. It's not that difficult. You just have to lower the field of view a lot. You see? Say hello to isometric superhero life too. I like it. I think that the style does well in isometric because it's, very a lot of straight lines and, you know, 45 to 90-degree angles. All right. Um, so will the construction building ever be completed? No, because the purpose of it is to be a construction site for people to fight and destroy things. Okay, so I think that we have this building more or less set. Let's make the smaller buildings. What's the scale of things right now? Where did I put the little guy? Here he is. Aha! The first canonical hero of Superhero Live 2 Remake. Gray guy. Um, I will. I mean, the new superhero life logo. I mean, I feel like the first one's kind of iconic to an extent. Uh, like people people recognize it. So I think it'll just be a high res, slightly color palette adapted version of that original idea of like a split down the middle. Yeah, I like splitting characters down the middle. My favorite Batman villain was Two-Face. I just thought it looked cool. I don't know why. It's just cool. Just cool. Um, yeah, inside every developer is a wolf. Two wolves. One of them says you should make a split character aspect to your game. The other one says, no, you've done that already. Um, let's see. How do I make this look more organic? I got it. I should use different shapes. Um, let's see. What parts plus? There it is. Okay. Let us find some good shapes. I thought there was like a little like you hover over it and it like shows you it. What? It's not the. Okay, that's cool. Mhm. Okay, so we have yeah so unmasking should be fixable, especially now that we have layered clothing. Like layered clothing as a technology which changes so much. Okay, I think that okay, so okay, we have a cube. This cube will be useful. Um, How do I actually, okay, there it is. Okay, so this will be useful for just adding some quick noise. Like we want just like a bunch of pipes going somewhere, we can just like put this somewhere. Oh, I'm in the wrong map. Okay. Let's see, what else? Where did that go? There you are. Why'd you put it all the way over here? There we go. And so now, like we're trying to get the shapes to look right. Um, and I think that's an important thing for game design. So you ever heard in character design stuff, you should be able to recognize you should be able to recognize a character based on their silhouette alone. And I think to some extent that also extends to the environment. Like look at the buildings that you recognize here. I'd say that of these buildings, this one and this one have like the weakest shapes. They just look like buildings. This one has this part going for it and the sign, that's good. But like if when this one if we finish construction on this one and compared it to this one, I don't think people would be able to I don't think they look that different. I think that people would have trouble navigating with them. And so we want to have cool shapes. Okay, so what is this? So let's go 70 by 70. I don't know. We're just laying stuff out. Oh, there is a beach. It's only on this side, and no, I don't really like how it blends in with the landscape right now. But there is a beach, and I currently live near a beach, so I should be able to get it right. That's it. Okay, so we have. Uh, this is why did we choose like the hardest shape? It's a refinery. It's like looks like looks like a train crash or something. Like it's just like a bunch of different twisting metal shapes. Okay, person who made this plugin, I'm begging you, change the placement. Okay, so that's a cool shape. Okay, this will be useful somewhere. Like just make like kind of a. I think that this will be handy. Like this makes it look a little bit more fancy. Okay, does it have a bunch of weird dimensions? All right, let's rescale it again. All right, so now, okay, that looks all right. Well, we're gonna have to let's just have it this be. Okay. I don't know. I know it's not exactly a trapezoid, but like kind of a trapezoid. Um, I think that the whole idea of a bridge to a different map, like I know that people want to be able to travel between the games quickly, and we might end up doing like a teleport thing at some point, but I don't know. It doesn't seem I don't think it's worth it. I think that's going to cause a lot of lag and a lot of complexity, and I think it's going to restrict, what kinds of stuff can be added. because every art style, every building, every the scale of the map itself will have to be in a way that looks good with the other map right across the street. Yeah, and I don't know. I want us. We don't need like there's also the aspects of every single like every single one of these games has like a bank. You don't need this many banks right next to each other. You don't need this many like schools and hospitals and parks. Like actually, you could probably have this many parks next to each other. But like I think that just there'd be just a lot of duplicate design, and so keeping all of the maps in their own space, I think, is for the best. Um, who knows? Maybe we can make like a modification at some point if it's something people really want. But I don't know. I really think that y'all would have a better time in a well done expanded version of an individual design rather than just mushing all of them together, you know? Um, like we don't need like Inception and The Dark Knight Rises to like be in the same universe, you know? It's like why The Dark Knight Rises? Why not The Dark Knight? The Dark Knight's a much better movie. Um, let's see. The I'm definitely down for adding some cool statues though. Those are fun. Especially, as a thank you to like various people. I want to add an homage to a game design professor who helped me a ton in college, who is no longer with us. So I'd love to add that. So we're gonna put that somewhere. Let's see. Roblox City was really just super creative branding. I mean, but I guess that brings back to the point that like when I made this game, I was making it to be a template for y'all to put your own stuff over it. And like I do have lore now. I think that I've realized that people do care enough about an official lore that I should make one and I should design around it. But at the end of the day, like Superhero Life is the game where y'all make things. I just make it possible for y'all to make things. Perfect. All right. Let me check the Discord. All right. I believe this is the one you're referring to. Um, I like the art stuff. I don't know recognize exactly. I think that it's a bit on the abstract side. I don't know. Like as you can see, like this is like a giant thing. Like you can see like it has like this going on for a distance, and the shapes themselves are are like very like it almost seems like a literal nightmare. Like it feels like something you'd see in a dream or like a there's like an express. It's almost like expressionist. Like I really like it as art. I don't know how well it would translate into 3D. At least not with my skill level. Someone else could probably do it. Um, I have no issue with hackers so long as they don't annoy someone in the game. Like I don't want a hacker to like, don't grief someone. But if you add like a new part of the map, all right, cool, upgrade. Um, yeah, I think that hackers should appear like I want hackers to be kind of like a an in-game event or something, you know? Um, so let me see if there's any other shapes because I think this one is pretty good. I like this. It reminds me of like the what's the Blade Runner building? Like that giant thing. Hmm, it doesn't look good. Yay. Okay, the what happened to Alan? I don't know. I Alan was, though, to my understanding, he was beloved by the community for his additions, and that's because I think ideally I'd love if Roblox supported the ability to like mod games, you know, like add like modifications to them in a way that was constructive. And I'd love to, build up custom support for something similar to that at some point. But at the end of the day, the I think that it's very. Let's see, I'm kind of liking this. Let's see. Okay, we're just gonna move this here. Gonna make it a little bit. Doesn't look bad. Mm, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, the rotation I'm torn on because I want because I think that this right here looks better, but there's something about like the chaotic. I want to make sure the chaotic aspects of these buildings are included, and maybe rotation just isn't the right way to do that. But like it happens. It's like the I think that when something's like wrapped up. Yeah, I believe all the game passes will transfer over. If any of them are removed, y'all will be compensated accordingly in game currencies. Because I really, I want y'all to feel like, you got the value you purchased and are happy with that purchase. But at the same time, I also don't necessarily think that every like Game Pass idea I had is like the best idea ever, you know? So like sometimes removing a game pass makes the game better for everyone, and it's just like making sure that people don't pay a price because I made a dumb decision as the designer. But for the most part, the oh, I believe I okay, it looks like somebody said they updated the Super Hero Life 2 map. Let's take a look at that. That's interesting. How many of y'all have just remade this game before me? Because this has happened multiple times. But okay. There are other. Let me actually expand the images one by one. Okay, so let's see. No, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's always just really cool seeing someone's different take on the game. Like that's something that is such like a weird feeling. Like it's very flattering, and I think that you can see every person has their own little style. I think that, for example, in this one, they did a much better job actually with the spacing of the city. Like this feels like the I think that they made it appropriately large. Like at the end of it, my biggest critique with the old map, what the heck is this? It feels like a slice out of an other of a city. It doesn't feel like an actual city. It feels so artificial and unnatural. And I feel like adding stuff here, kind of rounding it out a bit more, adding stuff here, like those were good decisions. And I think that decisions which might be a little bit beyond me, I kind of stuck with that design. But I will be breaking up those buildings into smaller buildings to make it look a little bit less inorganic, but still, like, I think you did a good job with that. And yeah, let's see. I like that you also make sure to integrate different colors. I think that I don't want my game to end up looking like gray and dull. I want it to have, character. I don't want it to necessarily be like that cartoony, like mobile, mobile game look. But I want it to have personality. I don't want to have like the MCU gray filter put on everything. Um, okay, I'll look at one more fan art thing, and then I will. Then we gotta focus. We only got about half an hour left of this stream. Um, okay, so it looks like we have some very wonderful work here. Let me post it for y'all to see. You are most clearly a better artist than I will ever be. This looks amazing. I'd love to see this as like an anime or something at some point, or like some sort of like an Invincible style thing. It gave him so much personality. Yeah, that is if I could guess like what kind of expression Red Rage would have in a fight, it'd be something like that. But yeah, no, amazing work. The as to but no, to answer your question, um, I think that the when Superhero Life 2 remake comes out, the I think that the what's it called? Superhero Life 1, I'm not sure if y'all know this, is uncopy lock. You can go see it. You can see the really bad code. You can do all that stuff. Um, and the and my hope is that when Superhero Life 2 has a solid audience and people like the new version of it and aren't asking me to bring back the old one, that's when I could uncopy like an older version of it and y'all could mess around with it, make your own versions. I just want to make sure that I don't like throw away the game. Like I want to make sure that I have the clearly better version on lock, and then y'all can have the other one. Yeah, the let's see what else. This looks like it could be pretty good. Okay. Okay, so name so now concrete rounded corner. Let's do something like okay, how about what happens when I reduce this is suffering. Okay, so how about, so now concrete. Okay, so I think there's got to be a cool way to use this, like this kind of shape. I think that, okay, how about 120, 24, 100. Okay, so we are going to, let's see, I think my brain is pretty tired. I might end up, pausing the stream early tonight, but I should be back. Um, I should be back tomorrow at the same time. I just like we're making some progress. I think we're getting in a direction, but like I don't like just getting that shape to feel right. I think is like that's like a really hard part because this is such like a bizarre shape, and we have to fit an environment in it. And so, I think that that's going to be that's going to be a big uh, it's going to that's going to take some effort. But I think we're up to the challenge. We just gotta, find the right balance here. Hmm. All right, y'all. No arguing. Come on, come on, behave. Uh, the the let's. I think should it be taller? I think it should be a little this tall. Yeah. The how about okay? I'm gonna call it like a metal frame or something. We're gonna make this metal. I always hated the rusted metal texture. Like it's not like a horrible texture, but like it's just so hard to use in a way that looks good. Like it's just too rusted. Like short of like a car exploding, like that it's such like a rare time when I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I want to use the rusted metal texture. Yeah, luckily there are some more mild variants, which I will be sure to load up next time. But I don't know. Let's see, we will have to, okay, let's go with some more metal here. Like this, like see, we can, you can add like some like random details that like look pretty good, in this situation. We just gotta, you know, add that little nonsense in a way that looks visually pleasing. Um, Brian, you're different. You use it in very subtle ways. I'm just saying that I can't be trusted, you know? Like you're one of those people who like it's like on TikTok where they have the things that look like cake, um, but aren't. It's like you can use rusted parts in a way that looks good. And that's the magic. Okay. I have an idea. Mhm. I don't know. We'll figure this out next time. I think I'm going to call it. I mhm. Yeah, like obviously there's something here. Like we can do something cool with this. It's just we just gotta mess around. This is why I do this stage because getting that overall shape that looks right, that is I think the magic in this, you know? Like I think that wait, I think I have it. I think I have it. Okay, so come on. Okay. I have I have an idea. Okay, let's move these two over. Dang it. Okay, so I think it looked pretty good when it was the same angle. And so if I can just, actually, let's just move this out of the way in general. So we have, okay, so what's the sizing here? So this is just do 100, do base 2, 128, 128. And then we'll do it like that. And then again, there we go. There we go. And the let's see. And so yeah, as I said, we're gonna be finishing up here in a minute or two. We're almost there. Okay. But I think that reusing the blocks at the same scale is how we're gonna get that shape that we want. Or even like I don't hate like this sort of chocolate bar approach, you know? Like that doesn't look horrible to me. Mhm. Um, let's see. And we can even do things to keep the angle the same. We can even do stuff like that. That looks pretty good. Okay. Let's see. I think. Okay. right, so now how much? Okay, so now I'm just going to drag this through, line it up with this, and I think we've got a pretty cool, um, main. Okay. Anyway, I think that this is where I'm going to pause it for tonight. Let's see. Any final questions? Let's see. Yeah, no, I do think that having I don't want it to I don't want it to look like the pyramids. That's true. Um, I think it's just like finding the right balancing act because it could be something like this, you know, like it's just actually finding that like balance, you know. And let's see, maybe that'll be the we'll see. I don't know. I am liking the general shape this is taking. I think the slanted. I think that this looks strong. Like this is a shape that like you can tell if you push on it, it's not toppling over. And I think that's what it's supposed to look like. And I think that for the most part, like you know, when you once we throw in some like some special like metal, you know, reinforcement stuff like all over it, it'll start looking really nice. But yeah, I think we will be saving that for next time though. Um, let's see. Currently, the business towers are probably these, so we'll be building those up with stuff. Yeah, yeah, woo, decent looking. Yeah, that's always my goal. In, you know, the let's, but yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. And thank you all so much for stopping by. I think that you know this is going to be a pretty awesome game. I'm still shocked that we have 50 concurrent viewers. I don't know. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. And we're going to make something really cool. I hope you can see that, like you know, the direction we're going right now. At our current rate, we're looking probably 2 streams per building. And let's see, how many buildings are there? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So up to 24 streams, 5 days a week, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Okay, so we're looking like, you know, about 5 weeks until we have the outline for the things done. Though not okay, for what it's worth though, not this is an especially hard thing to visualize. We're not going to have this much of a headache when we're doing them all. Um, but yeah, I think that we're going the right direction, and we're gonna make something really cool. And thank you all so much. All right, well, see you tomorrow. Peace.